Away from Eid al-Kabir celebrations to the campaign against drug abuse. This time, the Lagos state government has warned teenagers, especially students, against the negative peer pressure that could lead them to indulging in drug and substance abuse.
On a weekly basis, a number of people are being arrested over drug-related cases by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and other security agents.
I don't think there's any good advantage in taking drugs. I don't think there's any. Because when you take something and that thing makes you to misbehave, when you take something, it makes you to go and kill, and by the time you finish killing, you start regretting that you have done it. Is that a good advantage? I don't think so.
Data from the NDLEA in the last 15 months show that the agency has intercepted over 1.2 million kilograms of illicit drugs of different kinds.
275 million people.
This growing figure has prompted the Lagos state government to visit public schools and educate students on the dangers. The event, organized by the State Interministerial Drug Abuse Control Committee at the Agedingbe Senior and Junior Secondary School Ikeja, is to encourage students not to be influenced by their peers.
So when you talk of drug abuse, is a disorder of the brain. So we should see them as being ill. The way you treat any other patient, that is the way they should be treated. But for the suppliers, the distributors, they should be treated as criminals. But the addicts should be treated as patients. Treating them as criminals or stigmatizing them, discriminating against them, will further push them into more addiction, and we know what that could lead to. It could lead to even eventually their death. So we should find a way of bringing them back to be useful members of the society. And for parents, we are saying, if you have a child that is addicted, no amount of shouting, no amount of threats can stop them. That is still further going to make it worse. We are further pushing them out there pushing them out. So you should show them love, speak with them, quiet time, peacefully, quietly, and not with a lot of shout. That will not do anything. Most times they are hardened, so no amount of shout can work on them. Then when you want to take them to a psychiatric hospital, you need to let them know. The minute we heard she's going to Yaba left, what we think is we think of something worse. As any part of the body can be diseased, you can have a problem with your kidney, with your eyes. Equally, the brain can have a disorder. Then, strengthen prevention. That is why we are here today. How do we stop them from starting? How do we stop them from wanting to experiment? How do we give them education out of ignorance? How do we stop them from yielding to peer pressure and getting hooked on drugs? And for the one that already experimenting with drugs, at this stage of their lives, how do we stop them? Presently, we are in the senior high school, Agedingbe Senior High School. We are just finished from the junior high school. We are at the senior high school now. We can't rule it out that one or two of them are already experimenting. So what we want to do is at this stage, educate them, counsel them, sensitize them on the dangers inherent in drug abuse, so that they won't go further. And the ones that are not yet hooked on, that have not experimented yet, we want to find a way of stopping them. It's a no-go area. They should not even make attempts, because once they stop, at inception you might think you can control it, but at a stage it gets out of control, and it becomes, you can't control it any longer, and you keep asking for more and more at increased doses. That is why we are here today to sensitize the students on the dangers inherent in drug abuse.
Drug abuse is more harmful to children because they are still developing and must be prevented from engaging in such acts with all necessary support from parents and guardians.
It's not enough to say no to drugs. They need to be equipped with the right skills. And what are the skills that we have given them today? We have given them decision-making skills, assertiveness skills, and refusal skills. Because it is not enough to say no. How they say that no is actually important. Also today, they learned a lot about their brain being under construction, that the brain of young people is still developing. And any attempt to introduce any psychoactive substance to that developing brain, we actually mess it up. And the last place to develop is the place of judgment, this place of executive functions, memory, learning, decision-making, ability to weigh long-term consequences. And any attempt to introduce any psychoactive substance to this developing brain will actually affect them, and it can also lead to dependency. That is, the earlier they start using substances, the more they get into it, and they may not be able to come out easily like that. So we are here to prevent them from the use of substances, which is very important because prevention is better and prevention is cheaper. So that is why we are here. Also today we have been able to share some facts with them that the fact that a drug is legal doesn't mean that it's not harmful. That a drug is being advertised, like being glamorous, being cool, doesn't mean they should take it. So these are some of the facts that we have even shared with them today, and that they should try as much as possible to avoid negative peer pressure and learn how to make right choices.
The students are grateful for the knowledge gained.
I've been able to learn a lot of things from what the facilitators for today have been able to teach us. Firstly, I've been able to learn that when we say no, we take to our stance by saying no, and we don't give any contrary opinion after saying no. And I've learned that drug abuse is one of the major effects of low economy growth in Nigeria. And with that, I've been able to learn how to stop drug abuse, by in which we'll be able to enlighten our colleague, enlighten our mates, enlighten people around us on the effects and consequences of drug abuse.
The first thing I learned is about drug abuse. Drug abuse is the excess or the misuse of drug without the doctor's prescription. Another thing I learned is that whenever we say no, we take to our word, and whatever we say, we do it.
The fight against drug and substance abuse is a collective responsibility that must be taken seriously by government, private sector and parents in order to curb the menace in Lagos State and the country at large.